Hello, fellow writers. This week we are delving into some serious controversy. That is actually why I have my dinosaurs and dragon with me again this week. They're my bodyguards to protect me against any attacks that come via YouTube or otherwise as a result of what I'm about to say. So let's get right into it. This all came about because next month I am going to be writing a 5 myths blog post concerning what male writers get wrong about female characters. Then in September, we're switching it around to what female writers get wrong about male characters. In order to properly write about either topic, I thought it would be great to get some fellow author/creative writer feedback, and so I published the following on a Facebook writing group's wall that I belong to. Quote, I'm writing a blog post for August about what men get wrong when writing about women, then the reverse in September. Other than women's bodies and sexual habits, what discrepancies have you noticed? Looking back at that, I now fully acknowledge what a nitwit I am for putting it that way. It was stupid. I should have drastically reworded myself to make it abundantly clear that I was not looking for any male bashing or feminist cliches or mansplaining. As it was, I got too much of all three. One woman responded with, quote, interests, exclamation mark, many, all caps there, women like science fiction, hate Kardashians, couldn't care less about crippling high heels, and like sports and racing. I grew up around classic cars and indie racing. I'll take that any day over wedding dress programs. I want to barf my brains out. I also despise the color pink, partly because it helps pigeonhole women into stereotypes. If it's pink, I won't buy it. Okay. Well, I had so many mental reactions to that, but I shelved them all to stay on topic, asking her what books portrayed women otherwise. Not surprisingly, she couldn't think of a single one. For that matter, neither can I outside of the romance genre, which is almost always written by women, not men. Therefore, her response was utterly unhelpful. Truth be told, male writers don't typically write their female characters, at least not their main ones, as hating science fiction, loving the Kardashians, and staying at home in aprons doing nothing but cooking and cleaning and waiting around for their men. If anything, the trend goes the other way, where fictional women come across as the very opposite of girly. Men with curves, that's how too many of them end up portraying us. So, gals, seriously, get over it. Your definition of sexism just doesn't overwhelmingly abound in the West right now. You're fighting against projections and basing your view of reality on illusions that only end up hurting your feminist cause in the process. Okay, breathe. Breathe, Jeanette. Speaking of feminist causes, men, if you're pro-female and want to show it, telling women we're not any different than you, except for how we pee, isn't the way to go. In fact, I'd argue you're an indoctrinated, destructive, and demeaning lemming. Plus, if you're writing out female characters that way, you're also lazy. Actually, maybe you're lazy regardless, but once again, that is a completely different topic I'm not going to bunny trail off of. Leave that to the psychologists. I'm normally not a big fan of the term mansplaining, I will admit, as number one, it sounds anti-intellectual, and number two, it seems to be misused a lot. Just because a man disagrees with me doesn't mean he's automatically sexist. Maybe he just has a different opinion, in which case, of course, he's wrong, but, to each their own. Kidding, by the way. Just kidding. Regardless, in the case of those two men who responded to my What Male Writers Get Wrong About Female Characters post, mansplaining fits well enough. Both took me to task for daring to claim I was any different from them based on gender, with one of them proudly proclaiming that, in my books, my women carry tampons and pamperin, and that's only incidental. Other than they think and act like anyone. I'm sure he meant to say other than that, they think and act like anyone, and I'm sure he also meant to put commas in the correct spots in that response, but he just forgot for whatever reason. Regardless of grammatical issues, his female characters are overall unrealistic if that is really how he writes them. Okay. I'd say don't get me started, but I've already started, so I might as well continue. Hey, I am a female who doesn't wear makeup except for the occasional bout of lip gloss you see featured on these videos. Oh yeah, and when I get a horrible night's sleep and need to be somewhere important, I will put some red tinted concealer under my eyes to hide the bags. Other than that, forget it. I am too cheap and lazy to worry about such things. I also almost never wear high heels anymore because my flats are just too comfy. I consider pink to be my absolute least favorite color out there, and I prefer action-adventure stories to the smoochy stuff overall. Plus, I fiercely guard my individuality. Yet that individuality is partially made up of being female, just as much as the women who enjoy wearing high heels, adore the color pink, and love to curl up with a good romance. Being female, it's just part of who I am. It defines much of the way I'm inclined to think, act, speak, and be. Just as much as the fact that I'm short, American, from New Jersey, half Italian, half Scottish, a second child, and the list goes on of factors that make me who I am. I love being female, just as much as I hope that any other female listening to this loves being female, and just as much as I hope any male listening to this loves being male. Come to think of it, honestly, perhaps that's what male writers get wrong about female characters. Not only that we are, in fact, different from them in certain ways, but also that we should be. All right, I'm sure that you have some responses to that, so feel free to leave them and let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? We'll get that discussion going. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye, guys.